call to order the Harrison County Board of Education. This is considered a special board meeting because Mr. Taylor is joining us via video right here, and he is facing the podium. So first off, we'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Cadet Rourke.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We are happy to welcome Mr. Mayor James Smith this evening in recognition of School Board Appreciation Month. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Madam Chair and fellow board members, for allowing me to come today. January is School Board Appreciation Month, or Recognition Month, and I just want to take time on behalf of all the citizens, parents, and students of the city of Cynthiana to recognize you all with a reading of a proclamation from the city. Honoring the members of the Harrison County Board of Education, whereas our community values a quality education as a vital step along the pathway to success for our children, and whereas Mary June Brunker, Christy Carey, Ruth Hatterick, Austin Sparks, and Ed Taylor contribute greatly to this community through their service on the Harrison County Board of Education, and whereas these decision makers are responsible for maintaining strong, effective budgetary oversight, high standards for employment, and a safe, well-managed set of school facilities, and whereas these board members are serving our community with integrity, honor, and a commitment to our children's future, and whereas January 2022 marks Kentucky's observation of their contributions through School Board Recognition Month, therefore I, James Smith, Mayor of Cynthiana, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2022 throughout this community as School Board Recognition Month, and I urge all citizens to honor Mary June Brunker, Christy Carey, Ruth Hatterick, Austin Sparks, and Ed Taylor for their service to this community. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
It's hard to believe that we are starting another calendar year, but we are. So it is, next item on the agenda is, we do yearly, and it is election of board officers. First item on that part of the agenda, do I hear any nominations for board chair?
I would like to nominate Christy Carey to be the chair of the Board of Education for Harrison County.
Second.
Nomination made by Ms. Brunker and second by Mr. Sparks. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. We have just a little delay. That's why we're laughing. Okay, next item. Okay. We weren't laughing at you. I just want to clarify that. Next item on the agenda this evening.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Next item on the agenda this evening. Do I hear any nominations for board vice chair?
I nominate Ed Taylor.
Motion has been made by Ms. Hatterick to nominate Mr. Ed Taylor as board vice chairperson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Brunker. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Thank you. Nomination carries. Next item on the agenda is approval to appoint a board treasurer.
I would recommend that that the board retain the current treasurer, and on the next item, the current secretary as your treasurer and secretary.
Yes.
But you will need a motion and a second.
Yes. So is this, I don't even remember, is this Julie and Dana? So can we combine those?
I would just do them separate.
Okay, do them separate, okay. Consideration to grant approval to appoint Ms. Julie Asher as Board Treasurer for 2022. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Hatterick.
Second.
And second by Mr. Taylor. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Okay, motion carries. Next item this evening is consideration to grant to appoint Ms. Dana Waits as Board Secretary. All in favor? Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to motion.
Motion made by Mr. Taylor and second by Ms. Brunker. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Yes.
Okay, we'll just kind of hesitate so he can get with us on that same.
Sorry.
Rhythm. No. It's just a little
I
hard.
forget he's there.
Yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of consent items, which include board minutes and fundraisers. You've all had the opportunity to review these before our meeting. If there are no questions or comments, do I hear a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Motion made by Ms. Hatterick,
Second.
second by Mr. Sparks. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Okay. Consideration to grant approval of the January 2022 financial reports, board, school activity, and booster accounts, and the paid warrant. Any questions or comments after your review of these items? Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Brunker,
Second.
second by Ms. Hatterick. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed, say no. Okay. Next item on the agenda, this is one of our favorite things that we have at board meetings, and we're delighted to have you all with us this evening. We have a presentation by Major Montgomery and Master Sergeant Fortner for cadets of the term, and this is always a special event. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, and we really appreciate you, Dr. Burchett and board members having us out here, and it's really, we really appreciate it, but for our cadets more than anything. I was talking Ms. Hatter a while ago, and it makes a lot of sense to me now to look at it in perspective, is that 20 years from now, this has been a leadership program. These cadets we bring out here are some of the best, the very young people that we absolutely have, and they're going to be the ones that's replacing us 20 years from now, whether it be in a teacher role or, as a board member or, just leaders in our community. And it's great to get out here and recognize them and, let their family see that we really treasure what the input and the value that they're bringing to the school and to their community right now. And so I got two cadets I'd like to recognize. I'll bring them up one at a time. I got one underclassman as a freshman and then one upperclassman. And when we look for cadet of the term, we're always looking for cadets that stand out from their peers, whether it be in a leadership position, it's showing initiative, showing effort. And I got two great ones this term. Our freshman cadet of the term is going to be Cadet Rourke. All right, come on up, Cadet Rourke. Cadet Rourke is, when we talk about effort, he puts out as much effort as any freshman I've seen in a long time, and I mean that literally and figuratively. He's on our Raider team, and there's been several times where he puts out as much effort. He leaves his breakfast and his lunch out there as well. So, and he always comes in with a big smile on his face. You can't see with a mask, but he has a lot of positive energy that really rubs off on his peers. He always looks sharp in his uniform. His grades are good, and he shows a lot of leadership potential. And there's no doubt in my mind that when we get up to a junior year, he's probably going to be one of our flight commanders and in position to do a lot of great things for a unit. And we want to make sure that we recognize him for that. And, I think a lot of the times people have some of these positive attitudes and always see a glass half full. They look and they think everybody does that, but it's not something that everybody does. And so we want to recognize him for that. He'll get a promotion out of it. He'll get a certificate, and he'll get a cord that he gets to wear in his uniform that will separate him or, show him out from his peers. So congratulations. Take that. Go over with the picture. Okay. Next, I'd like to big up Cadet Peyton Fryman. Now, he is a junior this year, one of our lead flight commanders. Anybody that came out to our Veterans Day ceremony probably recognized Cadet Fryman. He was one of our MCs at the ceremony. And I tell you this, of all the cadets I've ever had, and Major tells me the same thing, he's the best public speaker we've ever had. And that comes with a lot, that comes with confidence, that comes with want to. He's a outstanding leader. When we, at the beginning of the year, when we look at flight commanders, particularly for our freshman flights, we all want to put our absolute best juniors in those positions to lead those freshmen and show them, all the things they need to know. And so when we look at that, he was one of our number 1 or number 2 choices for that. And he's done an outstanding job this year. He's in our, he's in a different uniform than me because he's on the color guard tonight for our basketball game. He's on our Raiders team. Any activity we have from our academic teams, he's on everything. And because he wants to be part of everything. And there's no doubt in my mind that, as the years progress, he's absolutely going to fill one of these big-time leadership roles in our community to move forward. And we're going to be in good hands. So I'd like to recognize him amongst his peers, amongst everybody here. Peyton Fryman, really great job, buddy.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
You want a group picture, right? Group picture? Come over here, Laura. On that side.
Oh.
I'm smiling. Thank you so much.
Let's give him one more round of applause.
Thank you so much for letting us come out. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you very much and congratulations. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda this evening is consideration of grant approval of a MOA with Greta Nichols, a licensed clinical social worker. Ms. Ashley Farmer.
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of all the elementary counselors. Greta Nichols, who, like you said, Ms. Carey, is a licensed clinical social worker, and she reached out to us after winter break, and she's in the process of opening a private practice here in Harrison County. And in doing so, would like to provide school-based on-site services to our students in the elementary schools. Greta is not a stranger to Harrison County schools. She's provided care to our students and families in the past. And we're all really excited about this opportunity. She is compassionate, consistent, and she is trained, rather, to provide essential clinical support to our students. Her services will be another social-emotional support or resource for our students. We are always in need of therapeutic services for our students, so the addition of another school-based therapist will only help with this need. So if you all have any questions, I can try my best to answer those. Otherwise, we just ask for your all support in this as well.
Well, and just for clarification, this is at no cost to the board. This is billed services for students that qualify for that. And I want to say this about Ashley and the rest of her elementary counselors and all of our counseling and mental health supports, our school psychologists, and our family resource center folks over there sitting in the corner. The need is greater now than at any time ever before. And Ashley and her cohort reached out to me about this and the need and the expanded need, and we were all on board. So I was happy to bring this before the board, and I know the board is happy to help provide these extra services for our students.
Any questions or comments? I'm just delighted that we have somebody in the community that can fill this role, and just as you said, now more than ever. And I hope that the community recognizes that we're trying to address all the needs, not just the educational needs, but all the other needs as well. So, if there are no further questions or comments, do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Sparks.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hatterick. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Thank you so much, Ms. Farmer. Mr. Dacey. Oh, there you are. I was looking over here.
He snuck over him.
Thank you for having me.
Tricked me.
Recently, the United States Department of Agriculture has released supplemental funding to school food service programs across the country. This funding is based off of your enrollment and meals served. It's available to every district in the state of Kentucky. We basically just have to say we want it. We can say yes or no. The only reason why, as a district, you would say no is if you have an excess of 3 months operating balance in your account, which we do not. So basically, it's just free funding for us to help offset supply costs. So with your permission, I would like to accept the additional funding for the programs.
Well, that would be like looking at the horse in the mouth. We didn't take it. So I'm delighted that it's offered. Do I hear a motion to apply for the USDA Supply Chain Assistance Grant in the amount of $65,000?
Move to apply.
Motion made by Ms. Hatterick,
Second.
second by Ms. Brunker. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed, say no. Before you leave, I do have a question. I'd like you just to update the community on the issues you're having with food resourcing and how's that going? Is it improving? Is it getting worse? Or
Since Christmas, the situation has improved a little bit. I think having schools closed for 2 weeks, plus some of the inclement weather shutting schools down across the country, has kind of made a little bit of a buffer on the situation. So we are still definitely having shortages on certain things, but it has gotten slightly better.
Good.
So that is good news. I think today was our order date, and I can say with 100% confidence that the number of out of stocks we got was significantly less than it was in the past.
well, that's encouraging.
There's still some random stuff that we can't get. A lot of your paper products and packaging you cannot get right now. Saltines, oddly enough, is a big one that we cannot get. So tomorrow's chili day. That's the reason why.
That's important.
I know.
Bring your own
Saltines are hard to come by.
Yeah.
Carrots and strawberries. And that's more, I think, to do with growing season and climate issues. But for the most part, it is. I do see some improvement and some stabilizing of the prices, which is good.
Okay, that's so interesting, that odd things that are just randomly not available.
Yep.
Well, I hope you found some crackers.
Yeah. Well, I think we're good for tomorrow.
Good. Thank you so much for the update.
And what Mr. Dacey and his team have had to do.
It's amazing.
They've scrambled all over the country to supply the lunchrooms with the resources they've needed.
It is amazing. Next item on the agenda this evening is Tara Custer, Jolene Ferguson, and Brad Allison, Family Resource and Youth Services Center.
Yes, and we brought a couple other people with us
Good.
as well to introduce themselves. But Family Resource and Youth Services Centers have now been servicing the families and children in the state of Kentucky and Harrison County for 32 years,
Wow.
which is awesome. Fantastic. Frisky's primary goal is to remove non-academic barriers to learning as a means to enhance student academic success. Again, I'm Brad Allison with the Youth Services Center, and we're going to take just a short second to introduce ourselves, tell you who we're with, and I'll be right back up.
I'm Kelsey Kearns. I'm the Assistant Coordinator for the Youth Service Center. I'm Kelsey Fryman. I'm Community Ed Director and also Family Resource Assistant.
I'm Jolene Ferguson. I'm the Southwest Family Resource Coordinator.
Tara Custer, Northeast Family Resource Coordinator.
We are funded by the per meal free eligible students, and what used to be referred to as our grant is now a continuation program plan. And because as part of the Family Resource Youth Service Center family, we wholeheartedly plan to continue this work, not only in the state, but also in Harrison County. And that is what brings us here tonight. Our continuation program plans are written for 2 years, and we have met with our individual schools, site-based councils, and now come before you requesting our assurance certification for the years 2022 through 2024. We wanted to provide some numbers, if that's okay, not to toot our own horns, but just to show you, in essence, what this assurance certification brings to the lives of those students and families of Harrison County. I'm going to let Tara go first, and then I'll report for the Youth Services Center.
All right. So as Brad said, Jolene and I work side by side. She has 2 schools, I have 2, but we try to keep it identical. The schools kind of like to do the same thing across the board. So what we do at one, we like to try to do it all 4. So the numbers and information I give is for all elementary schools, not just one, not just 2 of them, not just mine. It's for all 4 elementary schools. So on top of our programs that we do, whether it be reality store, career fairs, character awards, any of that, what we spend most of our time doing is crisis intervention. And so I just wanted to give you a few numbers to put that into perspective a little bit about as far as our crisis intervention outreach. So for Jolene and I at all 4 elementary schools, we've made 766 contacts this year with individual families. And that's just from this school year starting in July. Those contacts can be home visits, Facebook Messenger, because if they don't have minutes, you can reach them on Facebook, email, letters. It could be a variety of things. But there was 70, out of the 766 of those contacts, 173 was for attendance so far this year. We have assisted 21 elementary students with clothing throughout the school year thus far. 10 families have needed assistance with cleaning or household products. We have assisted 97 students and or families with food assistance. Whether it be additional snack bags, Save-A-Lot gift certificates, referrals to the food pantries, any of those. As you know, we also have our Christmas Angel program. Some kids don't qualify because we have qualifications for that, but we never turn a family away. So outside of our Christmas Angel program, we assisted 247 with our Christmas Angel program. Outside of that, we also assisted 46 students, additional 46 students through the community for Christmas Angels. And then one other thing we have to track with Family Resources in-kind donations to show that our community supports our programming. So any donations we get, we have to track those. And so last year's number for in-kind donations was $59,882. So that has made a big jump over the last couple of years. So those are just some of the numbers of crisis intervention that we've done so far this year on top of our additional programming.
As far as middle school and high school are concerned, our individual contacts, we're at 720 individual contacts. As far as attendance is concerned, may have a few more kiddos in that department, but we've met with 335 of our students about attendance. Christmas Angels, we did 85, and then on top of the Christmas Angels, we had another 48 students in the buildings of middle and the high school that we helped with other assistance. And then we're kind of big into clothing, so to speak, at the middle and the high school. So our clothing numbers just a little bit bigger. We're at 205 individual contacts as far as clothing is concerned, just trying to help, again, those students break down that non-academic barrier. We feel blessed to be able to help our families in their times of need, and that our board has continued to support us in these endeavors. Friskies have had a few mottos over the past 30 years. We've used bridges over barriers. Right now it's creating partnerships for student success, but we have always leaned on the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, we feel so fortunate to be a part of the Harrison County Village. And so we appreciate you letting us come here tonight. Again, we're asking for that assurance certification at this time for all 3 centers. That would be Northeast, Southwest, and the Youth Services Center.
Thank you for the presentation. Any comments?
I would like to make a comment, and maybe some people who were around when Frisky got started can comment also. It was part of the CARA, the Kentucky Education Reform Act, and it has definitely been one of the most successful parts of it. It is secret. Nobody knows what they're doing, where they go, who they visit, what they do, who they feed, yet these ladies and the ladies and gentlemen that came before them, along with Brad, have absolutely made this community a better place.
Absolutely. Well, Brad, I'm glad she included you. I just wasn't sure.
I know.
You were fitting into
I was like,
I've been one of the ladies for a long time.
yeah. I'm like, yeah.
That's okay. Again, I'm like Mary Jane. It's just an amazing program, and I don't think the community understands the impact that you all have on students and their families. It's just unbelievable. And I don't think you all realize the impact you have on the students, because you all act out of love and kindness and concern. And it's just, I'm so proud of the program that we have. I know everybody has one, but I don't think anybody's as good as ours.
No, they're not.
So you all are the best, and we just appreciate it so much. So thank you. So now getting to the motion.
Yes.
Can't forget that. So do I hear a motion to grant approval of the Family Resource and Youth Service Center continuation grant for fiscal years 2023 and 2024?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Sparks,
Second.
second by Ms. Hatterick. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
It's all.
Yes. Oh, he's off? Oh,
Name's lost.
Oh, my gosh, we lost him.
you couldn't be in charge of that. Sorry, we lost
Thank
Mr.
you.
Taylor, but that's okay. So it's unanimous. I mean, it's,
Yes.
oh, anyway, so we're good. So we'll just, do we get him back? Okay. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you all coming tonight, and just thank you for all that you do for students. And I won't say every day, because I know a lot of that goes into nights and weekends that you're worrying about your students and you're servicing them. So thanks again, we really appreciate it, and let's all give them a round of applause for everything they do.
If they can, hey Tara, if you can, will you take just a minute and tell about the one fundraiser that you're working on right now?
Oh, yes. Currently, Family Resources reached out to Dawson Springs Elementary. They was one of the areas that was hit by the tornadoes, and so we're doing a gift card fundraiser. And I sent out an email with some suggestions. We have been in touch with their coordinator, and Dawson Springs is such a small community. They have one Family Resource Youth Service Coordinator for the whole district, for the whole Dawson Springs. So we've been in touch with them. They're super excited, very appreciative of any help. So Family Resource Youth Services is kind of heading up a gift card drive. So if you know of anybody that wants to donate, we can meet them, we can pick it up, or they can drop off at our office.
Where, yeah, what's,
So they have
a Casey's General Store, and I don't know if everyone's familiar.
it's so small. They don't have a Walmart or Amazon, a Walmart or Lowe's within their community.
do they have a
to.
Dollar General?
They have Dollar General,
Was that on the list?
Subway, and a Casey's.
They have a Subway.
Yes.
Subway was on the list. Rulers was on the list.
Rulers was driving distance. Anything local, I think there was only 3 or 4. One of the businesses was even, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Subway is local, Dollar General local, Casey's, which is pizza, sandwiches, convenience store, and gas. And I actually tagged a link where you can purchase gift cards, because that's a local, because,
okay.
some of them, their vehicles was, also demolished in the storm. So some of them don't have transportation to go 19, 20 miles up the road. Those were the only 3 local. But then Walmart, Lowe's, Rulers, McDonald's, Tractor Supplies, O'Reilly's are all 19 miles away in another community.
Okay.
And then Amazon or prepaid Visa and MasterCards.
Okay.
So we're taking those up. So,
Next 3 weeks.
yep.
Okay.
So we can pick up from you, or you can deliver to our office.
And the link is on there if you want to purchase directly.
Yes,
Okay.
for just the one store, just
Okay.
the one local
Just
store.
Casey's.
Yes.
Okay.
But I try to put places on there also that's local to us, so it's
Yeah.
it's not an inconvenience for people to go get them.
Okay. That's a great idea. And I'm sure that community appreciates it so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Thank you.
the end date is, you said
We're
3
doing it for
weeks?
about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if in 3 weeks we still have more, we'll get them to them. But yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you all.
Let's see. We'll wait just a second until we get Mr. Taylor. I think what happened was the computer battery ran down. So that's why we lost him.
High school won in first round bracket academic team and they're in their third round of elimination.
we got another one. We got it. Hang
They've
on just
also,
a quick
they've
second.
also won bragging, and they're getting ready to play. You're texting me while I'm in it.
Is it already on? Let's see.
Okay.
Is it still trying to come up?
Ready, you should be ready to do your, where'd you set up at?
Thank you for your patience with our
It was
technical
the
delay.
calendar. Okay, so we'll go down to, no, I'm sorry, let's go to my email.
Okay.
I tried to join him on from here, but he wasn't there, so we'll get a new tab, and I'll go to email, and I'll go to my sent items.
I'm just glad they're in charge.
Yeah.
And then I'm not,
About that.
and then I'm not the
So I
one
got
trying to
backup right here.
hook back up to the link.
I'm glad they're in charge.
Oh, I know.
So we'll go
I
to
know.
sent. Here.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Here, the arrow.
Yeah,
Sent.
you'll be
Yeah.
playing. If they get to
Yeah.
or they'll have to post
We'll scroll down
it.
and find, what's it, Mr. Taylor, right here. Here's the link. Okay.
Make your play list. It's all y'all against us. I know.
Oh, you're in charge of the computers tonight.
No, he's just sitting there.
You're back on now.
Yeah, we got you. We
Yay.
got you. We're getting
Our
you.
apologies.
Sorry about that. Thank
No
you.
problem.
All right, bye-bye.
Sorry. I didn't think.
Oh,
we
no,
figured
you're
it out.
good, you're good.
I mean, that's dedication. Right up in here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you for your patience, and we're going to move right along. Next item on the agenda this evening is Ms. Asher. Consideration of grant approval for Northside Elementary to apply for Donors Choose Grant.
Ms. Mickey Grove has submitted a request to apply for a $600 Donors Choose grant. And the way those grants actually work, if approved by you all, they don't send us money, but they send us product. You tell them,
great.
you shop, and she is wanting to purchase headphones for students to use in their classrooms.
We had another school that did that last time.
We've had several of these
Yeah,
Donors
that's
Choose.
great. Okay. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So move.
Motion made by Ms. Brunker,
Second.
second by Ms. Hatterick. All in favor, say yes.
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 Motion approved. Thank you so much. Next item is Ms. Asher.
I dread bringing this every year. Draft budget for next school year is something that we're required to do every year by statute. Does not go to Frankfurt. It just requires board approval. And this is just the current year budget rolled forward. It's my starting point for working on next year's budget, so I'm getting ready to start, but it's just a formality that I need y'all to approve that we are working on a budget for next year, and we're getting that rolling. So.
And we appreciate it. Bless your heart. It's not an easy task these days. Well, it never was, but it's been more complicated. So do I hear a motion to grant approval of the 2022-2023 draft budget report?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Taylor,
Second.
second by Mr. Sparks. All in favor, say yes.
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 Motion carries. Next item is Miss Julie Asher.
Okay, I have what's called a school security funds request form that I'm requesting approval for. We received some special funding, actually a little over a year ago probably, had to be used. I think there was only 6 items it could be used on. It has to be used for facilities, and it's security, things to do with security. And Mr. Schweitzer's coming up later with the BG1, but he had worked on a plan, and we had requested approval for BG1 and this school security funds request form some time ago, and then we have come to realize that we're not going to be able to do that project. So this is a revision. The amount of money that we have that we're being offered is $79,281. And I'm requesting approval of this revised school security funds request form. And he'll probably tell you a lot more about the project we are going to do.
Yes. Any questions or comments? Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Brunker,
Second.
second by Mr. Sparks. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is consideration to grant approval to add a full-time elementary math coach position for the year 2022-2023 school year. Ms. Asher, Ms. Hatter, and Ms. Kendall.
That's a crew.
So while we're waiting on them to get up there, this is not for this school year, but for next. And we currently have one elementary math interventionist through a grant that we're no longer going to have after this year. So I know these ladies here can tell you more about this position and what the day-to-day activities of it are. But we're requesting approval for a full-time position for all four elementaries.
Okay.
Right. As you may recall, several months ago, the Math Achievement Fund grant came due, and it is written differently than it has been in the past, and was a matching grant of $62,000 per year per building, because the grant is only for each building. In fact, I thought you'd like to know that the KDE was prepared to issue 75 of those grants, and they only issued 13. So I'm going to venture to say that people did not apply due to the constraints of that grant. So, and I don't really know if the people who, the schools that received it are actually accepted it, because, in some school districts, there may have been 4 or 5 schools within that district that received that grant. So I just wanted to let you know that. We do feel that a district math coach would be beneficial for Harrison County schools. Firstly, to address gaps in student learning due to the pandemic, and then as well as to assist with response to intervention. We feel like this individual would have the knowledge base to use specific diagnostic tools that would drill down to see the students' specific needs. They would also have the knowledge base to be able to show and model for other teachers how to address those needs and the tools that are needed in which to do that. They would be a voice for math best practices through their discussions, collaborations, and meetings with teachers. And they would involve parents in the mathematics process. They would also help with our professional development. We could use them as a resource, because the professional development would be embedded during the school day. They would hold teachers accountable. You know, when you get in a classroom and you learn something new, and you have 20 sets of eyes or 25 sets of eyes looking at you, and you think, oh, what was it I was supposed to do? It's easy to fall back into your old habits instead of continuing on with the new. If someone were in this position, they would be there to support that ongoing learning for our teachers and to follow through with that, to be sure that the new learning was actually taking place, being processed by the teachers and actually implemented with students. And then they would see that difference in student assessment scores and data analysis, and you would be able to see a difference as well as students moved on through the grades. One other thing I'd like to mention is that we're seeing with new hires that they have not had a traditional experience with their student teaching, because the last 2 years they were part virtual, part hybrid, not attending their student teaching every day just due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Or in some cases we have teachers who are teaching that are certified through an option 6. So they have a job, and they are also working on a master's degree right now. So this would be an added resource for those teachers as well.
And I think above all that, as somebody who works with the global picture of K through 12, the biggest thing you as a board need to know is it's going to help when we're all on one hilltop and we're all together. You've got to move math globally, and you've got to watch the trend. I know several of you here have done that kind of work. You've got to look at where is it going across all the grade levels, and that would help us to do that more money efficiently. Then these grants are, the way they were written, are just simply, you cannot do them if you're a rural district in our size, or really any district our size. You're talking, what, $250,000 if under the way it was of an expenditure that there is no way, you could sustain. So that's why, we can't go in that direction, and we were not alone. Nearly every other kind of school district like us chose to make that same decision. It's just not being a good steward of public monies. I think all of us think that. And so that is from a global perspective why it's a good thing for our kids. In a perfect world, I'd say, can we have sex now? But, I'm just asking for a friend. But, I think this is a good start in the right direction to moving us in our core areas, and math being one of them.
Any questions or comments?
I just have a comment. I'm particularly impressed by the opportunity for that embedded professional development, because that is so key to continuing, the learning that teachers have. So I'm very impressed by that. So thank you for your work on that.
And I will give props. Miss Kendall is a whiz at that, especially in those early years, about how that really has to look. Because it looks very different at middle and high. And I know I'm speaking to somebody we've done the same kind of work, and she's really good at knowing how that moves along the different corridors. So thank you.
Well, I think it's an exciting move, and it also puts us a step closer to being Harrison Hilltop, or Hilltop Harrison, or whatever we're going to call it. So I'm excited. And it is sad the grant was written that way, that more people could take advantage of that. But I'm delighted that you all found an alternative.
Spoken about this earlier, and I just wanted you to be aware of what the reality of that was in the end.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for that presentation. Do I hear a motion for approval of a full-time elementary math coach?
Move to approve the addition of a full-time elementary math coach.
Motion made by Ms. Hattery.
Second.
Second by Ms. Brunker. All in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next item this evening is consideration to give $1,000 to Project Grad to benefit the class of 2022. Ms. Asher.
Yes, I know this year's senior class is already working hard on Project Grad Night, and in prior years they have requested some funding from the board, and they've done that again. You should have a letter in your packet there from the Project Grad coordinator, Carmen Ratliff, and they are requesting a $1,000 donation from the board to go toward that night.
Okay. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Sparks.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hattery. All in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Are you doing this?
I will.
Okay. Next item is consideration to grant approval for service provider of fiber network connectivity to outlying schools. Dr. Burchett is going to present that.
I'm going to pinch hit for Mr. Harris. I had the luxury, or was blessed in years past, to serve as the technology director of another district. So I am familiar with this process just a little bit. Mr. Harris and his team has, with the permission of the board, put out a bid for fiber connection services to east side, north side, and west side. The current service expires on June 30th of 2022. He has presented the board with the bid prices there as a part of your agenda, and it looks like he is requesting to award the bid to Spectrum at a per month price of $2,550. Again, that provides all the internet connectivity from this centralized site, which is actually over at the CEC building, out to east side, west side, and north side elementaries. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 3-year contract, which is within the guidelines of the Universal Service Fund. They allow you to do that. And because technology changes so fast, you really don't want to do more than about a 3-year contract. So that's his recommendation, and I support that recommendation 100%.
Yes, looks like it's the most economical for sure. Any questions or comments? If not, do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Brunker,
Second.
second by Ms. Hattery. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries. Mr. Schweitzer, this is information only, which I appreciate. Enrollment, homeschool, and virtual enrollment numbers. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
And you should have in your packets this informational item only. Enrollment numbers, current enrollment numbers, 2,771. Very consistent with where we were last year this time. Just a tad bit off from 2020. Homeschool numbers, right now we have 221 homeschool students. Virtual academy students, we have 8 in the Thoroughbred Academy. 7 that we are referring to as the VLA Bridge students. We have 5 in home hospital, and our district attendance rate is 92.3.
Is that pretty consistent with previous years? I can't remember.
I think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Oh, well, I do too.
I really do. There was a few days last week, this week, where there were a large number of students out across the district. So I think 92.3 is very good.
Yeah.
So,
is
it, your question, I'm not sure I actually answered it. Didn't intentionally skate around it, but.
Oh, no.
Is that.
It seems very high. That's why I asked if it was consistent.
With other districts across the state, and I would say that yes.
No, I meant, was it consistent for Harrison County previous year?
Oh, no. Our numbers, our number would probably be right now, it would be probably 0.5% or 1% higher than that.
Because, I think this number is good.
Oh, I do too. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay.
Pre-pandemic numbers would be
A little higher,
than
yeah.
that, yes.
But I just was, last year we weren't pre-pandemic, we were in the midst of it. That's why I was curious. Remember, this is 2 years.
I fully,
as you know.
Fully am aware.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item on the agenda is bid recommendation, letter from Summit Architectural. I'll let you go into all of that.
Yes, ma'am. I'm asking for your approval not to accept the bids, and that was BG number 21-242, and this was a proposed project that would include installation of security vestibules at both Harrison County High School and Harrison County Middle School. Those bids were opened in December. You can see Momentum Construction came in at $253,000. Trace Creek Construction came in at $285,000. Both bids being considerably more than the amount of money that we have to work with, which is security money set aside by Senate Bill 1 to, as Ms. Asher said, there are 6 items specifically that this money can be used for. Basically, we drop back and we punt. It is getting close to the Super Bowl, but with that being said, we have decided that access controls are probably something that we would like to do, and that we could probably get a fair amount of bang for our buck with the amount of money that we have. So Mr. Harris and I have actually seen 3 demonstrations from 3 different vendors for access controls. And so I'm working with principals now on the locations, the doors where they would like those access controls. So, and just real quick, when you think access controls, think a card reader, hotel room, in order to go through that door, and of course the software that's attached to it. Yeah. So if that card is not programmed to let you go through that door, then you can't go through that door. In fact, if it does let you go through that door, then somewhere it's going to record the time that you went through that door and identify that card user as you, Miss Carey.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing now. So I'm asking your consideration again. I got sidetracked. Not to approve or accept the bids, and there is a letter from Summit Architectural that supports that recommendation not to approve those bids.
Any questions or comments? Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Brunker,
Second.
second by Mr. Sparks. All in favor, say yes.
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 Motion carries. Again, I just would like the community to recognize that we're being good stewards of our money, and we realize that the other option wasn't in our budget. And so we just took a second look. So I think that's important for everybody to know. Next item on the agenda this evening is the new approval of a revised BG1. And
Yes, ma'am. So with the information that I just shared with you, we are requesting to revise the current BG1 that originally was designed for the security vestibules at both the high school and the middle school. We would like to revise that BG1 with a new scope of work to include new access controls to hilltop facilities, including Harrison County High School, Harrison County Middle School, and Southside Elementary, expanding those existing systems. But if possible, if we wanted to reach out to other buildings and expand, let's say, for example, this building and add some access controls here, we could do that too. So that's what I'm asking for, your approval of a revised BG1. And again, that's in the amount of $79,281.
do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Hatterick,
Second.
second by Ms. Brunker. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next item is consideration for outside groups to use the Board of Education facilities.
Yes, ma'am. I have one group, and that is the Kiwanis Club. They would like to have a magic show February the 20th at the Harrison County High School Auditorium from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. I do have their building use application and their certificate of liability insurance.
Okay, perfect. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Brunker,
Second.
second by Ms. Hatterick. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is consideration of grant approval of the employee leave of absences. You all have that in your folder. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Sparks,
Second.
second by Ms. Brunker. All in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you very much. Motion carries. Next item is information only, superintendent's report of personnel actions. That's in your folder. Dr. Burchett, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No more comments on that. Of course, we don't comment on personnel actions,
No,
but
I didn't mean on that. I meant in general in closing.
in general, in closing, I just say that everyone is working extremely hard to continue to provide in-person services. We know we've seen our neighbors to the west of us. Scott County has had to do some temporary closures. Woodford County is using the new temporary remote instruction model as they've closed the high school for a few days, and I think Franklin County announced that they would be out the majority of this week as well. We are making it. We communicated with all staff yesterday district-wide, and we've communicated with our leadership teams, and we are hanging in there just like Mr. Dacey is struggling with supply chain demands. We are struggling daily with personnel shortages, but we are making it through right now. That's our goal, to stay in person, and we will continue to provide those services.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments before we ask for a motion for adjournment?
Just appreciate everything everybody's doing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Who would have thought in March of 2020 that we would still be here? It's just unfathomable that we're still dealing with a worldwide pandemic. And thank you all for all of your efforts. You have worked just unbelievably hard together. You're focused on the students and their families, and we just appreciate everything that you all do. It's just a constant struggle for you all, and we recognize that, so thank you. If there are no further questions or comments, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Taylor. Second by Mr. Sparks. All in favor say yes.
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 Thank you so much for coming this evening.